Hi everyone, my name is Alexandra Ion. I'm an assistant professor at HCII and I'm directing the Interactive Structures Lab. So we work in the areas of digital fabrication and engineering advanced materials. Let me give you an example. So we can engineer materials by designing the geometry of their cell structure. Here you see it's only a circular cutout. While in this example, it's really just a bunch of holes, it still creates an unusual material property. So as it is being compressed, conventional materials would actually expand in the opposite direction. This one clearly does not. It does the opposite and contract. So this is highly unusual. And this is to show that even with a very simple geometry, you can create materials that have very unusual properties. So what other fantastic materials are possible? To find that out, we take a very different point of view in our research. So while these so-called metamaterials are traditionally understood as materials, we really think of them as devices. So our long-term vision is to design material structures that act like devices that can receive input, process that input in order to produce output, and all of that within one material structure. And that's what I like to call metamaterial devices. So to achieve this, we contribute novel cell designs that enable novel functionality, and also we develop design tools to assist users creating them. I already looked at the potential of these materials, and I'll give you just a couple of examples. For example, analog processing materials. So here's one example of such really mechanisms. It's a door latch that can be printed in one piece. So it transforms the input of pushing the handle down into the latch moving inwards movement. We've also implemented an editor that includes a finite element analysis to allow users to iterate over their designs quickly. Well, designing such metamaterials is still very hard. So as a next step, we built computational design tools where we dug deeper into the structures to understand their underlying mechanisms and to automate the design for the user. So here we really look at optimization problems, and in this case, it's combinatorial optimization. So as we know, analog devices suffer from signal decay. And to avoid that, we created digital materials, where here's an example where we built a door latch that evaluates the user input code, and only if that code was correct, the signal travels all the way up and the bolts are retracted and the door can be opened. All of that built into the material structure. And we also investigated gates, including the NAND gate. Lastly, I want to show how we create output with such materials. For example, we use textures that users can transition through and thereby set their objects, in this case, the shoe sole, to the context, the weather, for example. On a higher level, such metamaterials allow us to add functionality to materials, yet they are lightweight due to their porosity. They're sustainable because we use only a single material. They miniaturize very well because they don't need assembly, and their lifetime can be defined better and foreseen when they will break. So what will we do in the future? In the future, there are many parts still to investigate, such as designing sensor cells that react to the environment, and also to reconfigure cells that reconfigure the material for multifunctional materials. Let me give you two examples. So we could create, with the reconfiguration, we could create mechanical displays or non-volatile information storage, for example. And by adding sensor cells, we could even think of, for example, fences that adapt their permeability based on sunlight, or drywall that switches between cooling and heating. So to get to such advanced materials, we need to research design tools that allow efficient computational exploration of this virtually infinite design space of metamaterials. And at the same time, we investigate novel material structures, fabrication methods, and applications to make such devices a reality soon. And importantly, the design tools and the novel structures will inform each other. Such materials have various application areas, including prosthetics, medical implants, or soft robotics, and are highly interdisciplinary. So very briefly about me. Hi, I'm Alex. I started in January at HCII. Before that, I was a postdoc at ETH Zurich in a computer graphics lab, and I did my PhD at the Hasso-Plattner Institute in Germany in HCI. So a couple of human things about me. I like concerts, sessions, particularly experimental jazz. I love singing, and I used to play volleyball when I was a little younger. So this is the brief overview of our research at the Interactive Structures Lab, and shoot me an email if you're interested in joining the lab.